Hello and welcome to Bitsbox World, builds made easy. I just realised I've got a big miss with my scenery builds. I've got no woodlands. And I was in IKEA the other day and I came across these nice looking sort of Christmas tree, ferny type trees. And then in Hobbycraft I got this interesting branch sort of fake scenery. And I thought I'd buy some woods as well off Temu and see how they are as well. So I'm going to do 3 different woodland builds for my Warhammer armies. And these ones that I got from IKEA, they come in a little pot. I've taken it out the little pot, all fake, all plastic. And they come with this nice round base, which you could use. It's sort of got an earthy effect on the bottom, so I could paint that up. But once it's taken out of the little pot, it has a bit of a wobble to it. So I'm going to base it. But I noticed that the trees come apart really quite easily. So if I wanted to do different heights and different sizes, I could just take a few of the bundles off the little plastic tree. And then I've got a smaller tree. This helps to give a bit of difference in the forest, so not everything looks the same. And with these ones, I'm going to make some scatter scenery. So I'm going to put them on their own bases. As I said, I could have used the one that was there, but I'm going to use just some foam board here to make some trees on their own bases so I can scatter them around the battlefields. They're quite a decent height. If I put it next to this orc model, they're quite a good height, and this one I've taken off a couple of layers, so the big ones are a good decent height, and they I think are going to look really good on the battlefields. These fake trees, they seem to have different ones throughout the year at IKEA, so these ones are probably in the winter or Christmas range, I guess. But they weren't that expensive. They were £3 for 3 trees. So £1 a tree, can't go wrong, I thought. And I do think they look really quite good. So I'm going to put these on their own foam board and see what they end up looking like. So I need to do some basing. Whilst I get on and do that, I was just looking in the Old World rulebook at woods in general, and it is interesting how I've never made any woodlands or scatter scenery, so good to look at the rules then, I guess. The woods or forests are one of the most commonly seen battlefield terrain features, the rulebook says, and I had none. A wood might be classed as difficult, dangerous, or even impassable terrain based upon its size and density, and features as a whole will certainly obscure line of sight to a greater or lesser extent. The rules goes on to say that a woodland feature needs to have a clearly defined edge. This allows individual trees to be removed and replaced to facilitate the movement of models. Well, I should have read the rules before I started building my trees. These scatter ones here are going to be individual trees that I could put on a base to just show the defined edges of where the woodland is, and then if I want to move the trees around on that base, it then means I can move models about and through the woods. So woodlands, they also are classed as partial cover. Partial cover is quite decent because yeah, that gives you a -1 to hit from sort of any shooting against them or magic, so that's quite decent. But it does say as long as half of the model or up to half of the models within the unit are within the woods. So I'm thinking of putting some shadow warriors for my high elves into these woods, and yeah, could do a unit of 10 I guess in there, and that might be quite decent. Well, my trees are coming along nicely then. I've based them, I've painted them, and now I just wanted to put a bit more scenery on there. So using a pin drill to drill some small little holes, bit of super glue, and using that bit of the tree that I used earlier that I pulled off to make my tree smaller, I can just cut off a few of the little tufts, and they make sort of like an even smaller baby tree that's growing up, and cut that one in half as well to make an even smaller baby tree. Yeah, I'm really quite liking these, but I want to give them, just instead of the earthy texture, I want to make a bit of a mixed texture on them as well. So I've got a few little stones and green sort of sawdust flocking that I'm going with. I do like static grass, but I felt like these were in sort of a cold region. That's what they make me think of. So maybe the grass isn't so green or growing up nice and tall. So bit of flock on there, and also some grey stones, which gives, I think, a really nice contrast of colour with the grey stones, the flock, and the nice green tree as well. Let me know what you think actually about these in the comments below. I'll be making 3 different forest builds, so let me know what your favourite one is. But at the moment, add a bit of flock onto this, a few grey stones. Could paint the grey stones, but I was lazy and just left them as the grey, but I don't mind that. That looks quite nice. And here's the end result of my first 3 tree scatter terrain. I think they're looking really quite decent, and certainly making them different heights, I think, just gives a bit of a varied look. Now onto this. So this is just a sprig of, I got this at Christmas, sprig of sort of fake, what would it be? Christmas branch, I guess, maybe for like a wreath build. And I got this for about £2 from Hobbycraft, and I thought back at Christmas I might be able to make a forest, and obviously haven't made one until now. But clipping that sprig off and just taking off that brown paper reveals a bit of a stem on these. So from that £2 branch I got 3-4 trees and a half, and then if I clip these again I can get even more trees. So for £2 I'm getting quite a lot of trees. Just take a bit of that bottom bit off, so I've got a stalk that I can use to press into my foam board or the base that I'm going to be using. But they look quite decent. It's sort of a evergreen tree growing up. And this one, instead of doing sort of their individual scatter trees, I've made more of a diorama. And I did use a bit of static grass on this one as well as the flock and the grey stones, but I'm really quite liking that. And then the last set, this was some trees that I got from Temu. So check out my Temu video of stuff that I bought for the old world for Warhammer on Temu, and I'm going to make a massive forest for this one. So lots of PVA glue. Love a bit of PVA glue, being a bit messy, but just using that obviously to lock in all my sand. And then with this one I've gone for a bit of a walkway along there, so a path that's sort of going to be walked through the forest. You can see I've segmented that into 4 pieces. One side has got this sort of wet grassy look, and then the other side has got a flocky look. And I've used some big stones, so actual stones. You could use fake stones obviously, or craft some yourself from polystyrene, but I just had some big stones lying around, and I really like how this one looks with all of the trees, different colours, different styles all put in there, but leaving the walkway like it's a track from animals, or a track through the forest from armies and hunters and various things like that. Let your imagination just flow. So I really do quite like this one, and it's making me want to make more woods for my battlefield. So it's going to be like Sherwood Forest, I think. Robin Hood hiding out in the woods. But here we go. This is them all looking together on a battlefield, just with some models. chucked on there as well. Some lizardmen, high elves and the orcs hiding away in there. So there we go, they're my forest builds, and I don't know why I haven't made them up until this point. Really easy, really simple. And I might make some on some hilltops in the future. But let me know what you thought about these and what your favourite one was. See you again. Thanks for watching Bits Box World Builds Made Easy.